Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Creative Sagittarius. This is our podcast, Mindset Mastery, Learn and Thrive. Our topic today is Election Insight 2024, and we are going to focus on the state of Andhra Pradesh. So join us as we delve into the heart of democracy and unravel the intricacies of the political landscape in these vibrant states. From key issues shaping the electoral discourse to the strategies of major players, our journey promises to offer valuable insights and thought-provoking discussion. So buckle up, get ready to explore the power dynamics at play in Andhra Pradesh. Thank you for tuning in. Let me introduce you to today's speaker, Giridhar Mamidi ji. Giridhar Mamidi ji is a CA and a BCom LLB. He has been working for the large MNCs, including Google India and ADP India. Currently, he is working as a Pragya Bharati, Telangana, as the state vice president, and also for Samalochana, Andhra Pradesh, as a convener. At the same time, he is a panelist on several TV debates on social, political, cultural, religious, economic, and strategic affairs. He has completed more than 140 episodes of a special weekly program, Global Roundup, analyzing world affairs from a nationalist perspective in Telugu on Nationalist Hub Channel. So welcome, Giridhar Mamidi ji. Welcome to the Creative Sagittarius.
Namaste, and thanks a lot for inviting me, Hari ji. It's my honor to be with you.
So, Giridhar Mamidi ji, I have introduced you to my audience. Would you like to add something to the introduction? Please tell our audience.
Well, I'm a learner, and I'm trying to give my best, my little bit, to the cause of this great civilization, Bharat. So I am an avid traveler. I travel a lot, and I've seen more than 60-70 places associated with Mahabharata. And I've traveled the length and breadth of the extinct Saraswati River. And of course, I've gone to the interiors of Kashmir, where the Kashmiri Hindus have abandoned their ancient temples and left. So I'm an explorer, I would say. In that sense, I'm still discovering, still trying to understand my own nation, my own Bharat. So you can call me a student in that sense.
Thank you so much, sir. So coming to the election, we are in the midst of the general election 2024. And as we know, the biggest party, the BJP, had so many challenges. So election in southern state, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, is very challenging for them actually, because they have a stronghold in northern state and western state. But in the southern state, they are considered a foreigner party, you can say, due to the language or something like that. Many people say like that. So we are focusing on the state of Andhra Pradesh. Giridhar Mamidi ji, I am moving to my next question. What strategy does the BJP have in place to counter the strong presence of the regional parties in Andhra Pradesh?
Well, I don't think they seem to have a strategy as of now, because if they had a strategy, obviously they could have had some fight to give in this election. So, but I'm sure Andhra Pradesh is too important a state for them to ignore for long. 25 seats for the taking. So I think they need to really seriously focus this time around, definitely. I think it is important that whatever narratives, what are the plans that BJP wants to really work out in the state of Andhra Pradesh, that needs to come from bottoms up. It should come from the cadre rather than some leaders sitting and trying to dictate certain things. for instance, a lot of people who are probably not the core ideologically aligned people are with the party right now. Some of them were taken during the amendment to Article 370 related issues from Rajya Sabha especially. And some people who jumped ship from TDP when TDP was down. So it has a mixture of a lot of these people, but its own core ideological base, whatever is there, that needs to be strengthened. I think they need to really focus on the issues on the ground. Unfortunately, the state of Andhra Pradesh suffered tremendously. See, first they lost the city of Madras. Madras was part of the Madras presidency of the Great Britain when the UK ruled us, when the Britishers ruled us. But typically, Madras is a city which was a Telugu city. Even now, the Telugu population is significant there. In 1947, 1950, there was massive Telugu population in the city of Chennai. And that was given to Tamil Nadu. In fact, the very founder of the city is Chennappa is a Telugu man. And the lands were given on lease to the British. Fort, St. George Fort, whichever is given to the British, small villages around that place. They were leased out by the Chandragiri Rajas. Chandragiri is a breakaway faction of the Vijayanagara Empire. So they are very much part of the Telugu culture and Telugu millennia. So they lost Madras. When the state of Andhra was formed, the capital was Kurnool. And then Kurnool was given up, and then the capital shifted to Hyderabad when the Nizam territories were merged into the country, and the Nizam state was broken up into three. Part of it went to Maharashtra, part to Karnataka, and the rest to the United Andhra Pradesh. So the capital shifted to Hyderabad. And after the bifurcation of the state, the capital was supposed to be in Amaravati near Guntur. That's what Chandrababu Naidu government had decided. But after Jagan Mohan Reddy came, he split the capital into three. The administrative capital being close to Visakhapatnam, the legislative capital being in Amaravati, and the judicial capital going to be in Kurnool. So what has happened is constantly they kept on losing their capitals all these years in the last 75, 80 years. So that's a tragedy for them. And they kept on losing lands. The Telugu-speaking population is the second largest linguistic languages other than the Hindi dialects. If you take out Hindi and Hindi dialects, non-Hindi dialect language, Telugu speakers are the largest in the country. Unfortunately, they lost so much. They lost Gachiroli to Chhattisgarh, they lost Raigada to Odisha, then Kolar and Ballari to Karnataka, Chennai to Tamil Nadu. So they lost huge amounts of tracts over the period, and they are now shrunk to a small state. So what has happened is there is a massive drain of capital and intellect from the state. Most of them migrated to Hyderabad because being the capital, obviously they had a better chance, and they all migrated to Hyderabad. Now you see a lot of intellectuals, a lot of businessmen in the state of Telangana and in Hyderabad are essentially from Andhra Pradesh and the rest of the coastal belt of Andhra and Rayalaseema. So they migrated to Hyderabad. So you don't have that kind of resources left in the state right now. You need to rebuild it from the scratch. It needs a lot of impetus. It needs a lot of support till it takes over. Unfortunately, the local politics of both the strong parties are not helping the cause. Probably they need to industrialize this state very fast, very rich in agriculture, but that alone would not take you long. You need to industrialize. Unfortunately, when we compare ourselves to, let's say, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, which are highly industrialized, even Odisha for that matter, especially the aluminum industries and other industries in Odisha, Andhra Pradesh is not that industrialized. So there is a massive requirement for putting support into the state. And that is where I guess probably BJP has a good advantage and opportunity to really come and make the difference in the state. Probably they need to set the narrative straight on the development side, and they need to set the narrative straight in terms of the emotive issues of local people feeling this sense of alienation. Probably they need to come and reconnect them big time, and then give a lot of importance to the local culture, civilization, language, and whatnot. So all these things are needed. For instance, Modi ji had been to Mahabalipuram in wearing a dhoti, and he did a lot of things, right? So maybe similar touch and heel should be given to the state of Andhra Pradesh as well. Not just by Modi ji, but I guess by the party at large. Probably they need to invest a lot. Tarun Vijay, for instance, invested a lot in Tamil Nadu, in Tamil culture, trying to connect. So probably similar things need to be done to the state of Andhra Pradesh. How many people even know about the history of Andhra Pradesh beyond the borders of the Telugu states? So that is the tragedy.
I didn't know actually about the Chennai and other district you talked about. They were part of the Andhra Pradesh. Actually, even I was not aware of that. So I have one off-track question, but I think this is a very relevant question. Recently, in the past few years, many states have been partitioned. Bihar and Jharkhand, then you see the Uttarakhand and one was Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and one.
Punjab was bifurcated, Haryana and Punjab.
No, that was long back. I think Punjab and Haryana was bifurcated long back. Recent.
Then Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Uttarakhand.
Chhattisgarh. So these states have been bifurcated with a purpose. So do you think the government had achieved those objectives? Because what happened, I am from Bihar, and what happened in Bihar after bifurcation of Bihar and Jharkhand, the maximum population remained with Bihar, and the maximum resources went to Jharkhand. So that became the tragedy of the Bihar actually, because there has been no industry. Because since after the independence, but I was a kid that time. I was not there actually that time after independence. So very first government, was A.N. Narayan Sinha or someone. So only that government was a good one. So after that, whatever government came in Bihar with the Congress, there's Lalit Narayan Jha and Jagannath Misra, and then came the Lalu Yadav. So all they have only looted the state. And after, in addition to that, then the Bihar have been bifurcated. So the population go down by 11% of the Bihar after the bifurcation, and the resources went down by 90%. So in spite of the Lalu Prasad and all that, so the Jungle Raj, this another thing happened to Bihar. So the similar things have been happened other states also. So what do you think? Do you have any comment on that?
Well, this is a very complicated question actually, because this is not an issue which is applicable only to the state of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana alone, but across the nation. What are the criteria we are using to bifurcate states or reorganize states is a larger question.
Yeah.
We should not be doing it in piecemeal, right?
Yeah.
So
because
piecemeal approach is
sorry to interrupt you, because in Bihar, they had the objective with this the Adivasi population. They are not being looked after. So they need more support. So that's why they bifurcated. And when the money is given by the center to the state, all the ministers are looting those money. So even the Adivasi are not getting anything. So that is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. See, there would be a grievance, which is the starting point of any demand for a separation, right? The grievance could be genuine, but then probably bifurcating the state alone may not be the solution to it. Probably there could be other solutions. For instance, you look at the case of Gorkhas in Darjeeling. That belt in West Bengal is grossly neglected by the Bengali-speaking majority from whatever the Kolkata-based intellectuals. They have kind of always treated the Gurkhas to be non-existent or unimportant. But Gurkhas form a very significant part of our army, our culture, our civilization. So probably their aspirations and that needs to be taken care. They fought the best they can in terms of Gorkha Liberation Front, whatever Rishanke Singh and others, whatever they did. In spite of it, they're still part of the state of West Bengal. Why were they not bifurcated? Why a small state like Nagaland and Tripura were bifurcated, but why not Gorkhaland? So a lot of questions arise, right? Other than the Hindi-speaking states which are bifurcated, or a Punjabi-speaking state, Haryana and Punjab being bifurcated, no other state is bifurcated, except the state of Andhra Pradesh. because the states are formed on linguistic basis. So Andhra Pradesh is the first state which was bifurcated in spite of having a single language. So if the demand for Telangana was so strong because they did not want to be part of Andhra for exploitation purposes. So what is happening in Telangana today? The party which espoused the cause of Telangana is now out of power. So obviously, you could not meet the aspirations. It's very clear. Similarly, the demand of Telangana, if they said that we were never part of Andhra state or Andhra Pradesh state, then why did you not demand the merger of Vidarbha and Kalyan Karnataka with you, which was part of the Nizam territory? Then you should have a state which included all those three parts and claim we are successors to Nizam. That you should have claimed. You didn't do that. Telangana as a state never existed, but the demand was there, and for electoral reasons, Congress bifurcated it. So this is the problem with us. Probably, I'm not standing in for the sake of Telangana or against Telangana. I'm just making a point that there has to be a comprehensive review of the way our states are organized. Do you think this kind of organization will take us long? This decision was made way back in 1950s when states were formed, largely on linguistic basis. But then further demands kept on coming up and we started forming small states. Now you look at the logic. There is a small enclave called Yanam close to Kakinada town in Andhra Pradesh. It's a very small town, but that is a union territory attached to Pondicherry. Why? The majority of them, 90% of them speak only Telugu there. Why can't you merge it with the district of Kakinada and done away with it? Right? Because that was enclave of Portuguese, of the French people. Pondicherry belonged to French, and they had a small coastal enclave in. How? You look at Daman DU. DU 99% speak Gujarati. Why can't you merge it to the state of Gujarat? So a lot of questions arise in terms of the way these states are organized then, but nobody has looked at it. When the political expediency came, we started bifurcating it. The Assembly of Andhra Pradesh voted against bifurcation. Still, the center went ahead and bifurcated it. Whereas the Assembly of Uttar Pradesh under Mayawati passed a resolution that the state of Uttar Pradesh should be bifurcated. And yet, till date, the center has not bifurcated it. So what is the respect for the states that the center is showing? I understand that there are certain decisions you need to take in larger interests of the country. Let's say that take the case of converting a state into union territory in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. I understand that because there is an external factor in that. There is terrorism involved, separate. So you had a justification in doing that. I'm all for the center having the powers to reorganize the states. But there has to be a logic. There has to be a certain, thought process behind it. I don't think that has happened in the last many years, and the bifurcations or divisions are happening at whims and fancies. Over 10 years or 15-year period, either Punjab or Haryana is supposed to have their own capital. Still, they are continuing to rule from Chandigarh, and Chandigarh is still a union territory. I mean, such ridiculous things have happened, So I think it is time that maybe we constitute a states reorganization commission again, and then go into all these demands. And administratively, we need to look at it. Probably you look at a urban conglomerate, and 200 kilometers around that place, you try and form a unit. Probably that is better, where multiple linguistic, or cultural people are integrated, and then you run the show. Probably that is a better option. Or maybe there could be other things which could come up. I don't know. But this kind of a bifurcation always will leave bad blood among people. So that is something which we need. Like what you said in Bihar, you lost all the resources to Jharkhand, and Jharkhand has not flourished. So is the case in, for instance, Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh is highly industrialized. They have all the industries, Bhilai steel plant and whatnot. They have JSW steel, and they got all the mines and everything. Madhya Pradesh is still tribal. It's still not evolved to such an extent. So what is the justification in doing that? So these are the things, the serious questions one needs to answer. Just because I speak a different language or I look differently from the others, do I have a separate identity? Should I demand a separate, state? These are the things which are much larger questions. I don't think we have a quick answer to it. There are justifications why Telangana is formed. And of course, there are justifications against forming it also. So what was done was political expediency. The equation was that TRS would merge with Congress, and so Telangana votes will transfer to Congress, and Jagan Reddy would win in Andhra Pradesh, and he was released from jail on the condition that he would support Rahul Gandhi at the center. So he was, you know that Jagan Reddy was put behind bars under the UPA regime. So that was the equation. The equation was not to do any service to the people of Telangana or Andhra Pradesh, but it was just political arithmetic based on which Sonia Gandhi had taken a decision to bifurcate the state. So such kind of decisions would have long-term ramifications in the health of the states. For instance, Telangana under Nizam itself, when Nizam was there under Nizam territory, he gave up the territories which are abetting the sea. He owned the territory right up to the Bay of Bengal, but then he gave that up, ceded to the British. So he became a landlocked country. Just imagine if they had a seashore, Hyderabad would never have merged with our country. He would have remained independent, and he would have got support from Pakistan and Russia and others, right? It is our good fortune that he gave up the territory to British. He became a landlocked country, so he had no option but to merge with us. So now Telangana is again in the same predicament. They are heavily dependent on other states for their resources. Water, for instance, comes from either Karnataka or Maharashtra. If they stop the water, what will happen to Telangana? And Andhra Pradesh is heavily dependent on water that flows down from Telangana. If water doesn't come, what happens to Andhra Pradesh? These are all major questions where future battles are going to be fought. So do we really want a society to be so bifurcated, so divided, and so much at each other? Or do we want a harmonious society where we mutually share our resources and we live together in harmony? So probably this concept of a center state itself needs a very, very serious revisit. So is the case with the kind of reservations that are there in assemblies and parliament. For instance, till the other day, there was this reservation for 2 seats in assemblies or in parliament for Anglo-Indians. Where are Anglo-Indians in this country? There are Indians. Why do you call them Anglo-Indians?
Yeah.
Right? But then we continued with that because some promise was given to somebody during the partition time, and you continued with it. But what about giving reservation to Kashmiri Pandits?
Yes.
Kashmiri Pandits, on all by themselves, they can't win a single council elections. They're scattered across the country. What about representation to Gorkhas? What about representation to Sindhis? You bifurcated Punjab, Kashmir is divided into 2, Bengal is divided into 2, but entire Sindh was given to Pakistan. What about Sindhi Hindus who are left with they're stateless? Don't you want to listen to their requirements on the parliament or assembly?
Yeah.
What have you done to them? So where do you extend this logic? So my point is, we need to have a state reorganization where we look at all this thing at on a very blank piece of paper, not carrying the baggage of the partition, the baggage of the initial years of partition. We look at it afresh, look at it from our experience of the last 80 years, and then look at which states should be created and how should be created, what should be the criteria, and whether you'll have resources, we'll have urban conglomerates, you will have rural conglomerates. How do you relook at, reimagine a state is something which is a very, very serious topic.
So thank you so much, sir. You are very knowledgeable, and I have a quick question and a very appropriate one. This is off-track question, what we are discussing. So India is said to have a union of the states. So what do you think, the center should have more power or the state should have the more powers here? Because
so obviously it is not a union.
We are facing these issues, the state reorganization and all that, and the state has nothing to say. Whatever center has to decide and decides, the state has to accept. So that's why I'm asking you.
So if it was a union of state, you can never bifurcate the state. Yeah. Because once you bifurcate it, the state doesn't exist. Yeah. The residual states, you can name anything, it doesn't matter. So the union was between the central government and certain states. Those states don't exist. For instance, the state of Andhra Pradesh doesn't exist. Telangana is there. The residual state, you are continuing to call it Andhra. You may not have to call it Andhra. You could have called it Rayala Andhra, for instance. Because Rayalaseema, you have completely ignored the part of Rayalaseema. In fact, Rayalaseema wanted to be part of Telangana. They said, let us have Rayala Telangana. Because Rayalaseema was again under Nizam's territory and he had ceded those districts to the British. So there is significant Muslim population there. So they demanded that we should be part of the Telangana. Now, Andhra Pradesh is formed and you still call it Andhra Pradesh, whereas Rayalaseema is ignored. This is exactly what has happened in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. You always called it Jammu Kashmir, but you never bothered to ever mention the name of Ladakh. So they demanded a separate union territory. Now they have a separate union territory, they have an identity. People understand there is Ladakh, which is different than Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes.
So these challenges are there. So that is the reason why I'm saying, this entire issue of state reorganization is a very, very complicated issue. And I think we need to revisit this in a very structural format, in a very structural way. And so we are not a union of states. We need to be very clear about it. There is union and there are states. We are not a union of states. So states exist at the whims, will, and fancies of the central government. We should be very clear. As I explained, when the Andhra Pradesh Assembly passed a resolution not to bifurcate it, you bifurcated it. When the Assembly of Uttar Pradesh passes a resolution to bifurcate it, you don't bifurcate it. So where is this? Where is the state? States have no powers, literally. The power is all dictated by the central government. So we don't have dual citizenship. For instance, in USA, you are you're a resident of California, you're a resident of New York, or each of the states, Texas, and you also have certain responsibility to the center. But within your state, you're governed by different laws, your different territories, and those territories cannot be changed. The central government doesn't have powers to change the borders of Texas or California or anybody. That is a union of states. States chose to be part of a union. States are independent, they chose to be part of a union. Like in United Arab Emirates, there are 7 emirates who chose to join into the union. So there is Sharjah, there is Abu Dhabi, there is Ras Al Khaimah, there is Al Quwain, like that. So there are about 7 emirates came together and they formed a union. That is a union of states. But no, here these states did not come into existence. The central government came into existence and it decided how the state should be. So it can never be a union of states.
Then how should we define us?
We are a civilization. First, we need to understand we are a civilization. And in a civilization, we have commonalities from Caspian Sea to Laos, from Kyrgyzstan to probably Bali and maybe Papua New Guinea. We have a lot of commonalities. We are Akhanda Bharat. When you want to look at commonalities, you will find diamond dozen. You will find a lot of commonalities. But you want to find differences. We have differences every 100 kilometers. Every 200 kilometers, we have differences.
Yeah.
So you could keep on breaking ourselves into multiple states. That exactly what was our situation before the invaders came. For instance, you call them Rajputs. There are hundreds of Rajput princely states, which is equal to probably half a district. So many were there. So what happened was we were not united, and so they could come and attack us, do whatever they did. And when Bappa Rawal created a union federation, roughly around 300 to 400 years, nobody dared to come to us. We could effectively repel them. But then these small princely states, when they started thinking that they are bigger than the union, that's when we have a problem. So that is where the philosophy of the great patriot Acharya Chanakya comes in. He looked at the Akhanda Bharat beyond the states. Those states have their own local identity, but we are part of a union. We belong to a union. See, Pakistan was part of Bharat at some point in time. Now you see, if 2 people stand in the queue in any Western immigration office at the airport, you carry a Pakistani passport and behind you is an Indian passport. Who is given respect? Both of us belong to the same Akhand Bharat.
Yeah.
But the green passport has no value. In fact, even in Muslim countries, when I was working in the Gulf, I had a manager under me who was technically very qualified. I wanted to take him to Kuwait. So the Kuwait government would not give him a visa within 4 or 5 days. They sent it for police verification. But I'm a kafir, I'm a Hindu from India, from Bharat, but I got a visa within 24 hours. So look at the kind of discrimination that happens to the green passport of Pakistan. So your identity is Bharat. Whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a separatist, Naxalite, Congress, BJP, RSS, whatever, it doesn't matter. Our identity is the nation. So once you lose your identity, disconnect yourself from that and call yourself, whatever, Bengali, Punjabi, Telangana, Andhra, Tamil, your sub-regional identities merge into this union. The moment you consider yourself to be a Bharat, that is your strength. So one needs to look at commonalities between us rather than keep exploiting the small, differences that we have and then make that into a social unrest and then create these fissures. That will not take us long.
Thank you so much, sir. So this was really very knowledgeable. I am moving to my next question. Considering the historical and cultural context of Andhra Pradesh, how does BJP aim to gain the trust of voters who might perceive it as an outsider party? So what do
As
you?
I said, the road for BJP is very long. They are not even considered in the mind space of the people at all. But if anything happens in the state, automatically the blame goes to Modi. So, for instance, if there are instances of any attacks on Hindu temples or Christians being put in the TTD board or conversions happening, immediately they'll say, what is Modi doing? What is BJP doing? But why did you not vote for BJP?
Yes.
That's a question they don't ask. This is a problem. So when it comes to the local issues, they say, we don't find any leader here. We don't find anybody with whom we can connect. We don't find the local people serious enough to challenge these big parties, be it Jagan's party or Babu's party. So there is a significant scope for BJP to really make its presence felt, to make it connect to the people and let the people understand that this is a party which is serious about their local identity and their grievances. Unfortunately, that is not the messaging that has happened till now, at least. Probably they have a future where they need to focus on this. And again, cadre is something which always is there, because Sangha cadre is there and BJP cadre to a certain extent is there. They could be sympathetic to BJP, but then ultimately, when you don't have leadership, you have a challenge. See, in this country, for centuries, if not millennia, maybe for even, you can go up to 2000 years or beyond, we do not have Desha Bhakti. We have Raja Bhakti. We confuse these two always.
Yes.
Because we were never one Desha. We had multiple Deshas. We have Mahajanapadas, we had Ganarajyas, and we had multiple countries. In spite of having multiple countries, we were one. Vasco da Gama did not come to trade with only the king of Travancore. He wanted to discover a sea route to India. So India had many kingdoms. So it was not a single kingdom that he attempted to come. Alexander wanted to conquer India. He did not want to conquer Takshashila. Right? Takshashila was a small kingdom in the larger narrative of India or Bharat. So this is where we are confused. And you see in wars also, two kings used to fight and the soldiers used to give up their life. They used to fight dying for their king. But once their king dies, the same soldier will go and join the army of the enemy king. So for us, the loyalties are to the nation and not, the loyalty is to the king and it's not to the overall nation. Same thing you see in the politics of today also. The leader, whatever he does, whether he does good or bad, the leader is correct. Even what he does is something dangerous to the nation. It is against our interests. It doesn't matter. People will support. You see how people are supporting Kejriwal, for instance. When the courts are not granting him bail, that shows there is something wrongdoing which court has accepted it. So the cadre says completely, it is a vindictive thing, whatnot, as if he's not made any mistake. Same is the case with other parties or for that matter, any political dispensation in this country. Leader matters. So the problem is in Andhra Pradesh, you don't have a leader. So unfortunately in this country, that Raja Bhakti has to come. The Raja Bhakti, for Raja Bhakti, you need to produce a Raja. You need to produce a leader. Annamalai became the Raja in Tamil Nadu. You need to find Annamalais in the rest of the states, wherever BJP is weak. Strong leaderships only matter. You have Yogi in UP, you have Hemant Biswa Sharma in Assam, you have Mamaji in Madhya Pradesh, Vasundhara ji in Rajasthan, and you have Fadnavis ji in Maharashtra. You have tall leaders in each of these states, so you are very strong. So you need to produce those leadership. Now BJP is increasing its vote share in Tamil Nadu. But in Andhra Pradesh, assume that you are starting afresh. Now focus on creating the leadership, trying to listen to the local ground grassroots cadre, and then rebuild the whole thing, which is not difficult for BJP. BJP has done it across the country. Look at Tripura. They were nobody. They were nowhere in Tripura. Suddenly, overnight, they could throw out Manik Sarkar's government and they could take over. So BJP has that capacity to do it. But I think the focus needs to come, the seriousness needs to come. And I'm sure they will be able to do the same thing in Andhra Pradesh as well.
So what do you think when the BJP look for a leader in Andhra? Then what is the primary quality the leader should have? He should have a mass appeal or he should have a very competent person. Like I see in BJP giving opportunity to many seasoned professionals in some fields. So the Congress has not been doing it. They only look for the chamchas type of people actually. So but BJP in various industries actually, a seasoned professional, they are getting opportunity and BJP invite them. So when the BJP look for a leader in Andhra, what should be the primary quality of that leader?
Obviously, a leader who can connect to the people and a leader who can motivate the people is what any party should look for. That is something which no leader has 100% all qualities that you can expect. But you need to have a start. Somewhere you need to start. The moment he's able to connect to the people, the moment he's able to really resonate their lives, their beliefs, their way of life, and their culture, their language, their aspirations, I'm sure that is a good start. And then you can have other cadres who can support him and they can build it up. That's an area where BJP has to focus, especially in South. Karnataka, thanks to Yediyurappa ji, there is a strong presence already. But then when leaders who are not that strong are not well recognized in the society, they were made chief ministers. We know what has happened to Karnataka assembly elections last time. Yes. So, the leadership is very crucial. You have to invest in that. You have to keep on trying. It's not easy that suddenly a leader is born overnight, drop from somewhere, and then, wonders will happen. No, it's a process. It takes time. Probably you need to invest. For instance, the efforts that are put in by Karyakartas for decades, and then the first success of Vajpayee's government is the foundation on which today we are able to see Modi's government. So you need to build a foundation before you can see the successes. So I think somewhere somebody needs to do the hard grind, try and put up leaders who can connect to the people, grassroots people, who can go to the smallest fraction of the society, listen to them, connect with them, and then resonate. So those things have to be done in the next few years before probably you can start talking of the higher goals in your story of Andhra Pradesh. So, as I said, a long way to go, and multiple leaders have to emerge, and multiple, challenges need to be addressed simultaneously.
Thank you so much. So, I think how much time I have left. I have only 5 minutes of time, and I am coming to my last question actually. So, we have to finish before actually. So, with the issues like agriculture distress, unemployment, and regional development at the forefront, how does the BJP plan to address these concerns and convince voters of its ability to effectively govern Andhra Pradesh? So, what do you recommend?
As I said, as I said, the connection to the grassroots level is missing. That has to resonate again. There is rich culture in the state of Andhra Pradesh. It is a rice bowl of the country, literally. Some of the best varieties of rice are produced here. Very fertile lands of both Krishna and Godavari deltas. But then not much focus is given to industrialize this area. So the job opportunities are pretty thin. So those educated youth who managed to get a job in Hyderabad or elsewhere, they've all gone away from the state. So it is important that you come back and invest in what is the core of the state. The core of the state is your agriculture, mineral, and your potential for generating alternate energy sources and vast coastline. Compared to the area of the state, Andhra Pradesh has the largest coastline that you can think of. Of course, Gujarat has the longest coastline as a state, but then Andhra Pradesh, the size of the state, if you see, it has a much larger coastline per capita or per square kilometer. So that is something which you would exploit. I mean, if you see, just go across the sea to on the other end of the Bay of Bengal, you see such wonderful economies in the ASEAN countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. So why can't you replicate it? Why can't you make these areas into something which are resonating with a lot of other? For instance, we don't have any food processing. Andhra Pradesh is able to produce wonderful varieties of fruits, what we call as panasa. That is something which is very unique to Andhra Pradesh. Of course, you get it in Goa and other places, but you're not harvesting it. You're not industrializing it. You're not doing anything with it. Whereas you go and see in Mahabaleshwar or in the western coast, you have many industrialized factories there which take these fruits, make them into squashes, juices, so many things, highly industrialized. Whereas in Andhra Pradesh, it has not happened. We have wonderful flowers which are very unique to this place. The scent is not extracted. You're not taken it to the next level. So you're still predominantly an agricultural based state. So probably that is where whoever is the leader who wants to focus on Andhra Pradesh, they need to focus on these aspects. How do you bring value to the state? How do you take it to the next level of economic progression? And then give them solutions so that this should be a destination for people rather than a source from where people migrate. Today, no intellectual, very well-read Bengali stays in the state of West Bengal. They've all gone to Hyderabad, Gurgaon and Bangalore for their education, for their jobs. The West Bengal is completely drained. So is the case with Bihar. Anybody who knows anything from knowledgeable person, they've all gone away from Bihar.
Yeah.
So Andhra Pradesh should not become such a state. You need to become a destination state where people would come. So that means you need to take to the next level of economic progress, make this into an industrial state, focus on the people, focus on its culture, focus on its potential. For instance, sea potential, I said, massive sea potential. You focus on all that. That is when people will start coming to you. So I think a lot of things for BJP to do on several fronts.
Thank you so much, Giridhar Mamidi ji. It was such an honor to talk to you. You are so knowledgeable, and I am not contented. I will be coming back to you again. So we have less than a minute left, so I am forced to end this session. We will be meeting again tomorrow, day after, whenever you are speaking. So thank you so much, dear listener. We value your opinion and insight as we navigate through the complexities of politics in Kerala, in Andhra Pradesh. So if you have any question on mind, just post here. We'll be covering those questions. And please like the video and share the video so that we can spread the knowledge. So गिरिधर मामिडी जी, आपसे बात करके बहुत अच्छा लगा और हम लोग फिर से बात करेंगे। मेरे पास बहुत सारे टॉपिक है जिसपे कि मैं आपसे बात कर सकता हूं और मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि आपसे मेरी जान पहचान हुई है। तो शुभ रात्रि।
जरूर बात करेंगे।
शुभ रात्रि,
नमस्ते,
गुड नाइट। हम लोग फिर मिलेंगे।
नमस्ते।